Henry Tompkins was walking along a railroad right-of-way. At the same time, a train owned by New York-based Erie Railroad Company was passing alongside him. An unknown object jutting out from the side of the train hit Tompkins, severing his right arm. The law of Pennsylvania, where the accident happened, considered Tompkins a trespasser on railroad property. Because of this, the railroad's only duty to Tompkins under Pennsylvania law was to avoid wanton negligence. Under such a harsh rule, Tompkins would have had a hard time winning his case in a Pennsylvania court. Federal court was a different story. The Rules of Decision Act, or RDA for short, required federal courts to apply the laws of the several states when deciding cases, unless federal law controlled. Put another way, federal courts sitting in diversity were bound to apply state law. For a long time, there was disagreement about what the term state law included. The Supreme Court in Swift v. Tyson interpreted the RDA to mean that federal courts had to apply state statutory or customary law, but not state common law. If there was no state statute applicable to a diversity case, federal courts were permitted to exercise their independent judgment and apply the general law, which referred to jurisprudence of a general nature in matters like commercial law or contracts that were not dependent on local rules. Therefore, Tompkinson's lawyers made a strategic decision to file the lawsuit against Erie in a federal district court under its diversity jurisdiction. Because Swift was the prevailing rule at the time, the federal court could apply the general law, meaning the majority rule, or the federal court's interpretation of what the common law was or ought to be. A majority of states at the time held that a railroad owed a duty of ordinary care to people walking along the right-of-way, like Tompkins. Remember that if Tompkins had sued in state court, Pennsylvania law would have applied, and the railroad's duty to Tompkins would have been only to avoid wanton negligence, which is a fairly low threshold. In other words, in state court, Tompkins was pretty much guaranteed to lose. But in federal court, the district judge was free to use his independent judgment to determine what the governing rule should be. The district court opted to apply the majority rule, that is, that Erie owed Tompkins the much higher duty of ordinary care. And unsurprisingly, Tompkins won. The court awarded Tompkins $30,000, and the Court of Appeals affirmed. The Supreme Court granted certiorari.